Hello there, First Lutheran. Earlier this week, I had a call from Pastor Bob asking me to talk a little bit about the process of discernment that I went through during the time that I was there as a part of the congregation in order to help illuminate the story that you're looking at today of the call of Samuel and what he did with the priest Eli when God first called him. I love the story of Samuel, how he's a little boy laying in front of the altar, and he hears the voice of God call him by name. Thinks that it's Eli, runs off to Eli, tells him, "Here I am." And Eli says, "I didn't call you, go back to bed." This process, of course, repeats itself several times before Eli finally wakes up to the point of realizing that this is God calling Samuel. For me, this seems very similar. I joined the congregation along with my wife Emily back in the fall of 2001. We were straight out of college, having just graduated a few months beforehand. And when Emily was called to become a staff member there at First Lutheran, we decided to stay put, obviously. And at that time, we became members. It was that fall, and shortly after that, within a month or two, I received a phone call asking me to serve on the council as council secretary. I remember thinking that was crazy. I was a 22-year-old wise guy. Why would you as a congregation want to have me in that role? Yet that was the first call. And perhaps it was God calling, and I thought it was Eli if I was Samuel. But as time went on and I was on the council, the next step was when Dan Thompson, perhaps one of the Elis in my life who helped me to discern that it was in fact God calling me into ministry, made a comment in a council meeting. We had just had a son of the congregation finish seminary, and there were funds available to support another seminary. It was intended to be a joke, but Dan made the comment, "Hey, we've got these funds for someone to go to seminary. Scott, go to seminary." And everyone laughed it off, and including me in the moment. But as normal thoughts for me go in one ear and out the other, this one got stuck right here, and I could not get rid of it. And so I sat on that, and I prayed, and I thought, and I prayed, and I thought. I came back around to it many, many times over. And as that went on, I began to seek some counsel. First person I went to talk to was, of course, Pastor Bob, and he and I sat many a time in his office and would just discuss, is this God calling? If so, how does that feel? What does that look like? And Pastor Bob told me, if this is truly a call, not only will you feel it inwardly from God, but it will start to be confirmed outwardly from other people. Gradually, as time went on, that continued. And and I began to see that, and there was a lot of truth in what Bob said. And different people started to say, yeah, we could see that. Scott is a pastor. I could see that. And I just kept listening and kept giving it time and kept coming back to it. And just as Samuel had to be called by God 3 or 4 times before it finally came together, it took time for me to discern it as well. But gradually, as time went on, more and more points or more and more gifts started to evolve that really began to confirm that, yes, in fact, this is my call. This is what God is planning for me to go into ordained ministry. And now, 13 years after joining First Lutheran, I sit here in a different office in a different congregation, and on my door it says pastor, and that goes before my name, Pastor Scott Dalen, which First Lutheran was definitely a part of, and many different individuals there within the congregation, too many for me to name in this video, all had a part in that, serving in that role of the priest Eli, guiding and directing Samuel as he discerns the call of God.